Usually when we talk about human rights, we think about big, sweeping international treaties or freedom of speech.
Right, the high-profile stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But today, for you listening, we are unpacking something much quieter, but arguably way more fundamental. We are looking at how the legal system actually defines personhood itself.
Um, it is a foundational concept that most of us just take for granted. We're doing a deep dive into a landmark shift in Mexican law regarding what's known as the state of interdiction, or estado de interdicción.
And to guide us through this legal maze, we are looking at a specific legal thesis from the Supreme Court of Justice of the Nation, the SCJN, published in May 2019.
Right, that is Thesis 1, a .xl over 2019, along with some really crucial analysis from IDC Online regarding the civil code for Mexico City.
So our mission here is to understand a massive pivot. We're looking at moving from a system that, quote unquote, protects people by taking away their voice to one that protects them by ensuring they can actually use it.
Which is a huge paradigm shift.
It is. So let's unpack this. What exactly is the state of interdiction? Because it sounds incredibly severe.
It does sound severe, and legally, it was. Based on the civil code for Mexico City, specifically Articles 23 and 450, this was a mechanism used for adults who, due to illness or disability, were deemed unable to, and this is the phrasing, govern themselves.
Govern themselves. That is a really heavy phrase.
It is. If you fell into this category, the state would appoint a tutor, essentially a legal guardian.
Okay.
But this wasn't just someone helping you with paperwork. Under the old rules, this guardian would become your complete substitute. They would make decisions for you.
So effectively, the person with the disability just disappears from the legal radar.
In many ways, yes. The law treated them as if they couldn't obligate themselves or manifest their own will. It stripped them of the ability to sign a contract, manage property, or make basic legal choices.
That is wild when you really think about it. It is not just we will help you, it's we will decide for you. And that's exactly where the Supreme Court stepped in. They didn't just tweak the rules, they declared this specific mechanism unconstitutional.
Correct. The first chamber of the court ruled that interdiction is incompatible with Article 1 of the Constitution and Article 12 of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities.
So what was the court's main argument here? Why did they finally say enough is enough?
The core of the analysis is that the regulation was excessively restrictive.
Excessively restrictive. That sounds like legal speak for you went too far.
Exactly. What is fascinating here is the court identified a specific flaw. The old law didn't allow for the interdiction to be gradual and proportional. It treated disability as a monolith.
Right, so whether you had a condition that slightly impaired your judgment or one that left you nonverbal, the remedy was exactly the same, total loss of rights.
Precisely. It was a blanket removal of autonomy. It completely failed to account for the specific characteristics and conditions of the individual.
It's like using a sledgehammer when you need a scalpel. You're taking away everything just because someone might need help with some things.
And this leads us to the concept of legal capacity. The SCJN thesis defines this as a universal attribute.
Universal meaning everyone has it.
Everyone. It is inherent to the human condition. The court stated there is no circumstance that permits depriving a person of the right to be recognized as such before the law.
And if you strip away that legal capacity, like under the old interdiction rules, you're basically cutting off the source of all other rights, aren't you?
You are. The court pointed out that legal capacity is inextricably linked to access to justice, equality, non-discrimination, due process, privacy, freedom of expression, and even the right to an independent life.
So by putting someone in a state of interdiction, the system was essentially violating their right to due process because they no longer had the standing to even exercise it.
Yes. The shift in perspective here is massive. The ruling asserts that persons with disabilities must be allowed to exercise autonomy and full rights rather than having their juridical capacity denied.
It shifts the focus from protection by removal of rights to protection by ensuring the exercise of rights.
That is the key takeaway. The legal system is moving away from substituting the will of a person with a disability via a tutor toward recognizing that legal capacity is inherent. You cannot just legislate it away.
This leaves us with a really interesting final thought for you listening. If the court ruled that legal capacity is inherent to the human condition and cannot be stripped away, does this imply that future legal frameworks must focus entirely on support systems for decision-making rather than assessing the ability to decide?
It definitely changes the role of the state from guardian to facilitator. It suggests a future where we don't have guardians at all, but rather networks of support to help interpret a person's will.
A fascinating evolution in how we define what it means to be a person under the law. Thanks for diving into this with us.
It's a pleasure.
And we will catch you on the next deep dive.